Hello, everyone. My name is Mohammad Lebzo, and today I'll be talking about a topic that I think is pretty interesting. We'll be talking about why we like tragedy. So when you're having a rough day, things aren't going your way, there's no doubt in my mind that that was a bad experience that you don't want to happen again. So why do a lot of us go home, turn on the TV, and watch tragedy? Whether it's books, shows, movies, whatever it is, it's a huge genre with so many works. But if it's so terrible, all these experiences, why do we watch tragedy? There are a lot of theories about this, and we can't really pinpoint an exact answer for this question. That could be because the human mind is very complicated and there's so many different factors. But a few theories suggest that we could be trying to gather data in our minds that helps us avoid tragedy for ourselves in the future. For example, in Romeo and Juliet, when we watch this story unfold, we can see all these events happening to Romeo and Juliet. We can see all the sadness and all the pointless stupidity they experience. And there, we just learned a lesson to not be impulsive. We just learned a lesson to think things through before we take action. Drastic action, I should say. Another theory is that the experience of sorrow, and more importantly, the loss experienced by characters in tragedy, helps us feel better about ourselves. If a character, for example, in Romeo and Juliet again, experiences tragedy, the relationship between Romeo and Juliet completely falling apart because of their twisted lives that have, sort of messed everything up, we can feel better about our own relationships. We can feel like, hey, maybe my relationship isn't so bad if Romeo and Juliet experienced so much sadness in theirs. The last theory I'll be touching on is when we watch tragedy unfold, we feel a burst of emotion similar to the experience you get from a roller coaster. Of course, these two are leagues different, but hold on for the analogy. The highs and lows in Romeo and Juliet, for example, can pull us along, and we experience what can only be described as an emotional roller coaster. Now, regardless of why we experience these things, tragedy is a genre that so many people adore and a lot of people hate. And while the human mind varies greatly from person to person, and we could never dream of understanding it fully, we can still appreciate the efforts that these talented authors have put into their many works of tragedy.